Well, hey folks, here again at the channel, hanging out with you guys today. I'm glad you came over to check this particular video out because I'm really excited for this video because it's kind of a renaissance, if you will, of a fantastic knife. And the question really that I was thinking about a while ago was like, what's the top $20 pocket knife, you know, EDC knife? If you could only have, if you have 20 bucks and that's all you got, and you want to get a good blade for that price range, you know, obviously you're going to sacrifice usually little things here and there, maybe a little attention to detail. Usually, you know, quality of steel for $20, it's hard to find stuff that's going to be any type of a super steel, but you know, what's out there that would be like at the top, at least of my list. And as always, you know, it's just my opinion over here, guys. And that's really what I was thinking about. I'm like, man, you know, I've been reviewing hundreds of knives at this point, and just kind of what stands out to me as still that like top, you know, $20 knife. And guys, it still is to this day the KaBar Dozier. That's right, folks, the KaBar Dozier. You know, I've had two of these knives. Now, when I first started the channel about 4 years ago, it's a little gunk here from cutting through some boxes and tape, but when I started the channel about 4 years ago, and I was looking for inexpensive pocket knives to kind of get my foot in the door, start reviewing gear, kind of know and get a taste for, you know, what I liked. The KaBar Dozier was at the top of the list because it's 20 bucks, you know, KaBar, well-known company. I'm like, sure, let's do it. And I was really impressed, you know, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So as time went on, I gave one blade away as a gift, and then the other one, because I was just getting into really good sharpening systems and learning how to really sharpen blades well, I totally jacked up my other one on a sharpening system, and it was basically worthless, and I just kind of tossed it because I basically ruined the edge on that Dozier beyond repair. And after that, you know, I just never really picked up another one. You know, I was kept on cruising, picking up other blades, reviewing other knives. And up until recently, when I saw that they had, I think like a year or two ago, had come out again with this blue version. This is a new version on the handle scales. And I was like, you know what? I need to kind of pick that blade up again, and just really kicking around that idea of the $20 pocket knife. I believe that the Dozier is it, guys, and you're going to get so much bang for your buck, and in my opinion is the top EDC knife for that $20 price point. So in this video, it's not going to be a full review. I just want to run through the knife real fast just to remind you guys and myself, because I'm like, man, I forgot how much I love this knife and how great a knife this is for $20. They really hit the nail on the head with this blade. So with that, let's just go ahead, remind ourselves what this Dozier is offering. Now, I'd have to say the handle is one of the huge selling points for me on this blade. You are getting that kind of glass reinforced nylon, you know, plastic material. They have almost every color combination under the sun. They got black, they got green, they got tan, they got orange, they got zombie green, and I believe they have pink, if I remember correctly, for you ladies out there who are digging that type of color, and then this blue, and that's why I wanted to go with the blue. Blue is a favorite color of mine, and it just kind of stands out. You know, you don't see a lot of blue-handled pocket knives out there. You know, tans and greens and blacks are pretty generic, and you see those dime a dozen. So lots of color combinations. You can pick whatever flavor, you know, really kind of sticks with you. They give you a really good real estate size for my large size hands. You can see there plenty of room to spare. They made it really nice and slim, so it disappears in your pocket, rounded off all the edges so there are no sharp angles, and then give you that kind of traction. Looks a little bit like a diamond plate, you know, on like a tool chest down the centers, but it doesn't, you know, destroy your hand or anything like that. A little bit of jimping right there on the spine that's not aggressive, and it's not going to hurt your hand. Just a little bit of a flare right here for your index finger. This is not like a tactical knife you're going to be stabbing a bunch of stuff and stabbing bad guys with. It's just not really designed for that. You're going to slide right up and hurt yourself. But for average EDC tasks, it's great. And on top of that, because it's that plastic, you know, that glass reinforced nylon feeling, it's 2.3 ounces, which is ridiculous. For that price point, such a slim, lightweight, on the larger end of a handle is fantastic, and you just don't see that on a regular basis, particularly at that price point. So I love the handle construction on this blade. The pocket clip is another great aspect that you just don't see in this price point usually. It's blacked out, so it's going to be a little less obnoxious than a satin finished pocket clip. It is tip up, right or left, totally ambidextrous on the pocket clip, which is fantastic. Gives you a decent ride. You know, it definitely will protrude a little bit out of your pocket. You get a lanyard hole as well, but just fantastic. No issues whatsoever. Just a little bit of a flare to catch your pocket. pocket, then it sits right in there, and it's really nice and secure. And they also thought through not giving you that kind of diamond plating in the center where the pocket clip rests is a little circular logo with KaBar, and so it's a lot slicker, so it's not going to destroy and thrash your pocket, but the pocket clip is really strong against the body of the handle, so it's going to give you good retention in your pocket. You're not going to have it popping out all the time, but it's not going to destroy your jeans at the same time, which is really cool. That again, for a $20 knife, they're thinking through that process and making it tip up, right or left, and it's not going to thrash your pocket. The other aspect is the lockback design. I really dig it a lot. I have nothing against liner locks, but they're dime a dozen, and there is always a sense in my mind of a little bit more durability and solid feeling on a lockback knife. And so they did that perfectly. It's easy for me to engage the blade, and just with a little bit of a wrist flick, very solid lock up there, very strong, thick lock bar, very, very nice. And then they did it in such a way so that the edge is just a little bit away from the handle, so that I can easily kick down the blade and close it one-handed. So it's a one-handing deploying and closing knife, and I like that aspect a lot. And it's just cool to see that lock back. It's classic, it's solid, it's reliable, and it's fun to use because I can open and close the knife one-handed. Now, along with that is the deployment. There are two different versions that you can pick up that are out there, and they not only have to do with the blade shape as well. This is the thumb-studded version, and it is right or left. You just need a little star driver in there, and you can swap it for right or left. It's exactly a mirror image of each other on either side, so you lefties, no problem. It protrudes slightly above the handle scale, so it's very easy for you. With just a slight flick of the wrist and a good push, you'll be able to flick that sucker open every time. The one little bit of a drawback is that there's a lot of really aggressive jimping on the thumb stud, and it kind of bites into your thumb. So if this is like your go-to EDC knife, and you have 20 bucks, and you're like, dude, this is gonna be like the pocket knife I buy for the next 6 months, then I would probably either get some kind of coarse sandpaper, maybe a little Dremel tool, and just round off a little bit of the jimping, and that'll make it a little more comfortable for you. On the flip side, because of that, they do offer a different blade shape that's more of a clip point. This is more of a spear point hunter design is what they call it. They do have more of a Bowie clip point design that has an oval hole. So if you're a lefty and you don't want to deal with swapping with a thumb stud, or you like holes and you like kind of the Spyderco design, it's an oval, but it works great. I've owned one of those before, and it's going to give you a little bit of a more deadly piercing blade shape as well. And you do have to give that little bit of a wrist flick, not much, but because there are Teflon bushings in here, they didn't go with the bronze, but it's not gritty, it's not gunky, it doesn't feel bad at all. And again, this is my third Dozier I've owned over the years, and they've all worked flawlessly and are always dead center right down the center of the blade, which is a great little added feature. Now for the blade, you got a 3-inch blade. Love that. It's perfect size for EDC tasks. You could even carry this as kind of a backup, outdoor adventure folder if you want to. This is Taiwanese made, and it's made out of AUS 8 steel. Now, it's a good stainless steel. It's going to be competitive with any 8CR13 MOV steel you'd see from like Kershaw and some of those other companies out there that use that type of steel. It's rather rust resistant. It will pick up rust, but not as fast as some other steels that are out there, and it holds a decent edge. Now, it's not going to have quite the heat treat and cryogenic freezing that like Cold Steel and SOG do on their AUS 8. Those two companies I've seen make the best version of AUS 8, if you will. It holds a much better edge for a longer period of time, but this is going to be very easy to get a hair popping edge back on it when it does dull on you. And again, for $20, it's a much better option than some other steels that are out there, like 5CR 13 MOV steel. I would take it over 440A that some of the Gerber knives in this kind of price range are offering. So good edge retention for what it is. Now, it is a hollow grind, then it just gets the job done. I mean, it's a great little EDC knife for all of your basic EDC tasks, opening packaging, cutting rope, even a little carving and whittling, when you're looking for that, cutting plastic, around the yard, maybe a border, a rubber border, something like that, rubber hosing, all those type of things. This blade will be able to handle handle without any type of problem. And then again, back to the woods, it does have a 90-degree spine, so you can actually throw really good sparks with a ferrocerium rod, which is really cool. And again, because of how cheap it is, how lightweight it is, it would be great to throw in maybe like a little backup, you know, mini survival kit, you know, or just carry it as your pocket knife when you're hiking and, you know, you use your fixed blade for all your major stuff, and then you can use your little folder for just some basic stuff around the campsite. But yeah, guys, there is a mini version as well, which I believe has a 2 1/4 inch blade if you do want to go with that. But those mini versions are only like $1 or $2 cheaper, if I remember correctly. So in my mind, it's better just go with the full size 3-inch model. Well, there we have it, folks. Time to kind of bring this video to a close. And I got to tell you, there's so many things going for this knife. I love it. And honestly, the only thing for me that holds it back a little bit is the blade steel. You know, the Osate, again, decent at $20, but everything else about it reminds me a lot of my $60 Spyderco Delica with the VG10. And honestly, if in the future, if KaBar was to offer us just a different higher end steel on this exact same model, leave everything exactly the same, maybe change it up to a full flat grind would be sick. Really cool to see that. Maybe put like a D2 steel, still make it in Taiwan, that's fine, charges $30. This would be like a mind-blowing knife. As it stands right now, for $20, I believe it is the top EDC folder on the market in 2016. Now, that's always subject to change as products come out, things change down the line, but at the moment, after not only having reused this knife after about 4 years since last owning one, and just having fun with it. It's just fun. You know what I mean? I own $200 pocket knives, but it's just fun sometimes to bust out the $20 knife that, honestly, aside from edge retention, is going to do everything that those $200 knives can do, or $60 knives, or, you know, whatever. Again, going back to that Spyderco Delica 4. Aside from edge retention and a little bit of the full flat grind aspect, there's no difference. So the price of one of those Spydercos, I could get 3 of these, and really the only difference that we would see is that you would have to sharpen your blade a little bit sooner than I would, but not by much. So just kind of think about that when you're picking out your pocket knives, and you would not be sorry or regret it if you were to pick up one of the KaBar Doziers. And guys, I just hope that this video has brought you some enjoyment, pointing you in the right direction, showing you what this dozer can do, and if anything, just reminded you of how awesome this little blade is for $20, and it is top dog at this point in the world, in my humble opinion. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for coming, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on the KaBar Dozier. As always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.